Hi, welcome back to Life in the Crapper with Zach. Today is going to be the first part of my kind of personal story with stomach problems. Just that way so that all future videos, you know, that all my advice or information or whatever I have to offer is coming from a genuine place. Unfortunately, I don't really have anything definite in terms of family history. Just a lot of stomach problems on my dad's side. No one was ever diagnosed with IBD. My grandmother was diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome, which is different but similar in some ways. And on my mother's side, it's kind of, we just don't really know because my mom was adopted and information on her birth parents is kind of scarce. When I was a baby, my mom came up with a nickname for me and it was Zachary Poopery. I don't know if she was prophetic or what, but I got that name because of the timing of when my diaper would need to be changed. The most classic story she tells is one time the dog got loose and they went looking for it, and they were in the woods near our house and they came to a clearing. They followed the tracks to this clearing and then kind of lost the trail. And they were shouting for her and they spent a while there, and when the dog wasn't showing up, they were about to leave. And then I needed my diaper changed, so mom stops to change my diaper, and then the dog comes bounding out of the forest. So in that situation, my poop actually saved the day. Now, as for the rest of my childhood, I don't really remember any incidents, anything that anyone would consider abnormal for someone growing up. But then in high school was when I started to have problems. It was just this intense intestinal cramping that would happen a couple hours after I ate. And I couldn't really tell if it was the food setting it off because it didn't seem to matter what I ate or didn't eat. It just kind of felt like someone was reaching in there and taking the intestines and just bring them as hard as you could. And then I would go to the bathroom and experience relief. And this would go on from about, I want to say it started about either my sophomore or junior year of high school, so about 16, 17, and then it continued until a little bit after my freshman year of college, so until I was about 19. And somewhere during that time I went to a local GI specialist and had a flexible sigmoidoscopy. I'm probably butchering the sigmoidoscopy, but it's, you know, like a colonoscopy. It's a camera that's inserted up your butt to look at things. It just doesn't go all the way up, so it's a little less invasive and you can be like fully awake during it. And all they said was they couldn't see anything and that maybe I had IBS and that maybe I should drink more water and eat more fiber. And so I did those things to not really any great effect. And then somewhere after my freshman year, there was just a day that came that I was like, huh, you know, I really haven't had stomach problems in a while. So it just kind of went away on its own. Fast forward a few years, I graduated from undergrad at the University of Nevada, Reno, and then I ended up going to grad school at Regent University. The first 2.5 years went by, and then it's March of 2012, and I'm getting ready to graduate, and I'm just really busy because I'm preparing to defend my thesis for graduation. I'm in my dream role as Father Flynn in our production of John Patrick Shanley's Doubt. We're getting our showcase ready for the Arts Naples World Festival for agents and casting directors, and also we're putting on another show, The Government Inspector. It's super crazy, and so we're in the middle of the production of Doubt. And one day I go to the restroom and I notice a streak of blood on my stool. And I go, whoa, that's new. And it didn't hurt or anything, so it was really weird. So I, of course, went to the internet, and that was probably a bad idea because the first thing that gets into your head is cancer. Oh, it's got to be cancer. And then I calmed down and saw, oh no, it's probably just hemorrhoids. So I thought to myself, oh, well, I'll drink more water and eat softer foods and I'll be fine. So I kind of put it to the side for the next couple of months because I was just too friggin' busy. And I defended my thesis, passed, graduated, everything. Got back and I was still seeing blood, in fact, more blood. And so I went to one of those 24-hour, you know, doc in the box, as they call them, clinics. and they gave me some sort of Vaseline suppository and said, well, take this for like a week, and then if it doesn't improve, we'll refer you to like a surgeon who specializes in hemorrhoids and things like that. And so it didn't get better in a week, and so I went to see this surgeon, and he said, well, let's do a flexible sigmoidoscopy and just see what's going on. And so he did, and I was awake for it, and I saw on the scope these little red lines in my intestine that he referred to as angry patches. And he suspected inflammatory bowel disease, so he took biopsies. And then what they look for on these biopsies are things called granulomas or pericryptal inflammation. And so when the results came in, the biopsies didn't show any of that. Now, I wouldn't find out until months later that the biopsies rarely show that. But at the time, he said, well, I don't know what it is because it doesn't show these granulomas, so I can't diagnose it as IBD. And this is why it's important to see a GI specialist. Nothing against this surgeon, it's just that his area of specialty was surgery. And so he knew enough to kind of go, oh, I think it's this. But when it came down to it, I needed to see a GI specialist. And he said he was going to refer me to one, but that never happened. So I just kind of finished out the summer putting up with the increasingly bad symptoms because I knew I was coming home and I'd see kind of the GI specialist in Nevada that I had seen before. That's what happened over the summer. But all the while I was working 3 different jobs and the symptoms were getting worse. The blood was starting to increase at the start of summer. I wasn't experiencing anything else at this point. I would go once or twice in the morning, maybe once in the afternoon, and once or twice at night before I went to bed. And then as the summer went on, I would wake up during the night. I would maybe go to the bathroom maybe 3 times in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 3 in the evening. And each time it would be kind of just this, excuse the graphicness, but this kind of just bloody mess. It started to be more blood than stool. And I would spend anywhere from half an hour to an hour in the bathroom just trying to empty myself so that I wouldn't have to go to the bathroom the rest of the day. And I would eat less and almost trying to not eat at all. And even though I wasn't eating that much, it was still just more blood coming out. So it just was very disconcerting. And then as we neared the end of the summer, things got just worse, progressively worse. That's when the urgency started. It was like, up until this point, I didn't, I still had control over my bowel movements, but then it became, oh no, I have to go to the bathroom now. And if I felt the urge and I didn't get to the bathroom in the next 30 seconds, like literally, I was going to have an accident. So the road trip back home wasn't a lot of fun because you're in a car for anywhere from 8 to 12 hours and hoping you get to a truck stop. And I had to do what a lot of IBD sufferers do these days, is they take their emergency kit with them, with a spare pair of underwear or 2 and toilet wipes. And it's important because there were times on that trip, I think once or twice, where I didn't quite make it to the truck stop in time. And, of course it's discreet, no one knew, but it's still, it's still really humiliating because you feel kind of like a child because you can't control your bowel habits. And the reason why I'm talking about it is because we kind of have this culture where we make fun of poop, and poop's funny, and yeah, it is, but also we shouldn't feel ashamed to talk about things related to the disease that we just have no control over. So that's why I bring it up, hopefully to dispel some of that shame. Okay, so I think that's where we'll conclude today. That covers genetic history, kind of childhood, initial kind of pain in high school, and then the real major symptoms of IBD starting in grad school and going all the way up until when I finally got my colonoscopy. And that's where we'll pick it up next time. So thanks for watching, and to all of you, as always, good health.